Daniel-san, always look I. Today, let's talk about influencing factors on ourselves as individuals, human beings, the human experience, life. So, let's get it. Yeah, boy. Again, forgive the stupid faces and everything, but that's trademark. Get used to it. But influencing factors. Now, I use this cheap Walmart board, so don't hate me. And I wrote down what I feel in Sadaki's opinion once again, because that's all this really is the uneducated, never made it out of college, 25-year-old, because it's 2014, opinion of life and what we should probably strive for. But back on topic, this is influential factors on us as individuals. Take a look. Now I know I got chicken scratch. That's terrible. That's terrible chicken scratch. I've been out of school for too long. But let me break it down for you real quick. So, all experiences ever. Now I mean ever. Period. Ever. I don't care if you want to believe it happened or oh no that's in question. I'm not too sure that happened. Everything, because all your experiences, directly or indirectly, that ever happened to you since you could remember, and even before you could remember, but after you were born, will constantly be affecting who you are as a grown man, as a grown woman. Those things shape us and cultivate us to be what we are now, for better or for worse. That's what gives us what we call our knowledge, what we call things around us, is based on our experiences. One. Number two, this one right here. Let me get that in the picture right there. All people directly and indirectly in contact. Ever. Now, I mean, that goes without saying. All people who are directly in contact with you or indirectly in contact with you are affected by other people. It's an endless chain of people who directly or indirectly affect other people who affect other people who somehow made it to the direct person that's affecting you in your life. And that also goes in my mind without saying that we affect each other based on the environment that we're in, or the environment that we share as individuals, or the people that we live with, or how they affect us, for us to wake up angry because last night wasn't a great night. You know, she didn't let me sleep, so I got up grumpy because I had a few hours of sleep. When I went to work, I was driving on the road grumpy because the line was too long at Starbucks in the drive-thru and I couldn't get my coffee that I get every morning. So I went to work even more pissed off and groggy and tired. The boss yelled at me. I got pissed off and yelled at the people that I'm the boss of. And you just directly affected people. Who's the indirect person in that example that affected you? Your woman, your man. And you went to work and directly affected people for the woman or man that directly affected you. And when they go home, they get all salty. They get all pissed off after they clock out at work. And they all, ranting on about how my boss did this and did that and we didn't do nothing, but yet his boss yelled at him, so he think he got the right to yell at us. And then you take all that heat and all that anger home, or you go to the bar and you get wasted, or you do whatever because you're off tomorrow. For example, hypothetically speaking. And this shit can happen. I'm being real with you right now. That's how the world works. I'm painting it in words right now. I ain't putting no pictures up here, but I'm showing you a possibility of how directly and indirectly people affect other people. That because your woman or your man didn't let you sleep at night because she snores real loud, because I don't know, she tosses and turns, she pulled the blanket on you, or she took your pillow, she did whatever, or I don't know what it is. You got up angry, you didn't get enough sleep. And when you're driving, you didn't have enough time to wait in a long line at Starbucks to get your drink in a drive-thru or whatever. That lets you even further becoming more upset because you were banking on that to help you ease off the pain and stress of the other night of not sleeping so you can get through your day at work. You get to work, your boss comes down on you because you're groggy, because you're tired. What? Because you didn't sleep. How come? Because your woman or your man. You get angry, you take it out on wrongfully, maybe it's a lapse of judgment. Maybe you just wasn't thinking. You take it out on your subordinates or whatever kind of job, because it's hypothetical, of course. I'm trying to make my point here. You take it out on them, one way or another. You get cranky, you get snippy. You say something that maybe they're not having a good day, but it just took that one snippy comment, that one word that slipped out, that you said to one of them that ruined their whole day. All because you didn't catch Z's. You didn't catch a few more Z's at your house. because maybe you came home late and your woman got angry. She didn't let you sleep that night. All because of that, you affected somebody who affected their family. Their kids got home. Their father was pissed off because you, as the father's boss, ran a train on him. And he comes home and treats his boy and his girl incorrectly because of you. That is how people directly, indirectly, hypothetically, once again, affect people. And that happens right now. That happens every single second. You don't control who comes in and who comes out of earshot, who hears or doesn't hear your conversation, where they go or where they don't go. This is a free country. This is America. You don't control that. So what happens? We consistently, directly and indirectly affect each other, who directly affect other people, who indirectly affect other people. It's the human chain, as I like to call it. Let's move on. Oh God, that was a long one. Jeez. Had to take an intermission with a stupid face at the end of that, but let's move on to this one right here. All environments directly or indirectly involved, ever. Now, what does that mean when I say that? That means that any and all environments, you don't control who is or isn't in an environment for any given time. True or not true? At home, you don't control when cousins or your aunt or your uncle come on over. Sometimes they just come on over. They may give you a warning or a heads up, but sometimes you just come on over. Just like at work. Maybe you control the schedule, maybe you don't. Nonetheless, for the people who don't control the schedule, they don't control who is or who isn't in the work environment, who comprises it at any given time, per se. True or not true? And based on what they're going through, what they choose to have control of, whether it's their mouth, whether it's their temper, whether they're high, whether they're stoned or something, and they come into work, that directly or indirectly affects you, based on what they're doing and what they're not doing with their lives, etc., etc., all based on your environment. People comprise environments, and it's uncontrollable. That's the good thing about life, that's the bad thing about life. So let's take a step back, all the way back to when you're a kid now. Let's take it back to childhood times. You know, when you're kicking the rocks and playing kicking the can or throwing the football in the street with your homies in your, your childhood neighborhood or your block. Let's take it back there to those days. Your environment. Who's the main people or person that makes up your environment? Sometimes your grandparents, maybe it's your auntie and uncle, maybe it's your foster family, maybe it's your mom, maybe it's your mom and your grandma like me, and then eventually, your dad comes back in, but not your real dad. But that's a different story on its own. But then, anyways, what do they do or what did they not do that created the environment that you grew up in? Start to ask questions. Start to realize this. Because without knowing that, you unknowingly create almost a mirror image of that when you think back in your head to the memories to your next generation. That's important to know those things for a fact, clearly and consciously, that this is how I was raised. This is the environment I grew up in. This is what I had, and this is what I didn't have. Because that kind of environment will yield who you are to some degree, once again, which will in turn, based on how much or how little you question yourself and you know about yourself, will yield the next generation that you put in a similar environment. Because in your head, that's what comfort is. In your head, that's what you know. That's probably all that you know, is this is how I was raised. So let me replicate that same environment to my kids. Let's see how this is going. This is getting the cogs turned now, huh? That's how deep this is. Environment, ever, indirectly, directly, it all plays a factor. Now this last one right here, heredity, that's a big one right there. That's blood. That's your DNA. That's genes right there. That's stuff that people, a lot of times without choice, pass on to you, from mother and father to son or daughter, and then you find your significant other. You guys come together, and from the grandparents to you guys to your kids, and so on and so on and so on and so on. It's important to know what heredity gives you and what it doesn't give you. That way, shoot, you can choose a healthier diet if, heart disease and all the other business comes with your blood, comes with, genes and stuff from your parents. You can choose not to smoke if a lot of cancer runs in your family. You can choose not to drink if you got terrible liver because you have a weak liver because your father has a weak liver, or whatever it is. Point is to know what you cannot eat because you're allergic to it and you might get the hives or you might die. It's important to know these things. It's important to know what your heredity is and what it says to do what you ought to do and what you ought not to do with your life. Because what you choose to or not to do will once again reflect on the next generation. That's how it works. And I only say this because when I was growing up, it wasn't. I mean, it was good. Don't get me wrong. Hell, it had Power Ranger, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Shoot, had Ninja Turtles, Samurai Pizza Cats. You had a lot of good stuff on TV. Shoot, that's a lot of violent stuff. Now that I think back at it, had a lot of good stuff, but also had stuff that, as a grown man looking back at it, could have been tweaked on a little bit differently, could have been handled a little bit differently. But nonetheless, I don't regret anything. I don't take anything back because that led me to where I am at this very moment in front of this camera talking to you guys. And just let's just please, this Sadaki's plead for you right here. Let's this whole board aside. Let's just think, I mean, shoot, we got brains, right? Come on, man, damn. So, Sarak here is saying, oh, stay funky, brass monkeys. Share. Stay chill, Kimosabs. And, of course, I'll catch you guys as soon as possible. Literally. I'll be right behind you. I'm gonna catch you.